Hello, app development team. Are you ready to make a little university app? Of course you are. Let's get straight to it. So pumped. Let's show you around. You are starting with this project file, which has a bunch of stuff in it. Let's look first at the university.swift file over here. You might recognize much of this because we used this in class last time. You all use this university class to kind of load in some information about universities you found. So all of this is pretty much the same as what you had in the last class. All I have done is taken this and placed it in its own file called university.swift. The next thing that I added is a file called universitylist.swift, and this has all of the specific university objects that you filled out with information from research last class. So I've cleaned up some of it. Some of the repeats I've taken out, but you hopefully will recognize a number of these universities and the information that you put in last time. I've added in this public word next to each of them. Don't worry too much about that. What that really means is that if you put public in here, it means that these values will be accessible outside of these files. You'll see why that's handy in just a bit. And so down at the bottom, I've made this other public list, this variable called universities list, and I put all those universities inside of it. The reason I've done all that is that inside View Controller, I'm actually storing the universities, that whole list of universities you just saw. I'm putting all of them inside of this View Controller, which is where the magic is going to happen for our app. Another thing that I've done is I've put in a selected university, and I've said that that type for the variable is university, and I'm just setting it equal to the first university in the list. And I'm getting the first one. This is an array. I'm putting in 0 as the index so that I get the first one. I could put in number 5, which would give me 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is the 6th element of that list. I'm going to leave this as the first one just for fun. So you have these already put in there. And so right out of the box, what this will do is this will actually load up a PickerView. Show you what a picker looks like. This right here is a picker, and it lets you pick a value from a number that are available. You'll notice it has cities in California as kind of the generic names in there. But what I have done is I have actually set up the code for the PickerView so that it uses the university list for the labels. So if I run this in the simulator, what that now gives us, as you'll see in just a moment, is a list of universities, and I can select them. Not so exciting right now, but you can see that all of those names that you loaded in there are just showing up. Now that we have that, let's actually load this in and do something a little more interesting. So if I load the storyboard, I'm going to go up here and get a label. I'm going to drag that in. And so what I want to do is I want to make it so that I can show the location of the university that I've selected up here. So I'm going to select that label. I'm going to open the attributes inspector over here. I'm going to change lines to 0 because we want to make it so that we don't get that ... thing in there. And so I'm going to do the normal control drag, hit the control button, and drag it in here. And I'm going to call this location label. And so I'm going to do a couple things. The first thing I'm going to do, this function right here, view did load, means that our screen at the beginning of our app has loaded. And so I am going to set the location label, which I've just defined, .text property. I'm going to make that a little label that says the location of the university that is currently selected. So I'm going to use some string interpolation, and I'm going to say that this is selected university dot city. It's the name that I think I used on that. Okay. And so that is going to get the selected university. It's going to get whatever university is selected. It's going to get that university's location, and it's going to load that into the label. Let's try it out. And so now you can see that the location of Johns Hopkins, which is the first item in that list, it now has the location in there. But if I change this, you'll see it doesn't actually update that. And that's because I have only told it to set the location, the city, when the view first loads. So let's change that behavior. I want it to set this location anytime the PickerView changes. So for that, what I'm going to do is go down to this right here. This function runs when the user selects a row in the PickerView. And so when this happens, I'm going to set selected university to be the university that is in the row that the user selected. So I'm going to set that. And then I'm going to set the text of the location label equal to that selected university .city property. So let's run that, see what it looks like. So now you can see as we go through our list, it is changing the location that is displayed here as we move up and down the list, no matter what happens. So you could imagine, because I've had you just change this add one label here, that you could do this for any number of things. You could show not just the location, but the country, the population, the acceptance rate, all of that. And that is exactly what I want you to try to do on your own. As always, let me know if you need some help with that, but see what you can do with this task. Good luck.